my first visit to Tramstop Cafe for the year. I'll keep doing some more work on my planning. I had my first peer mentoring session for the year with Allan. He'd done some work on his annual planning as well, so we sat down together via video conference and worked through some key aspects of our vision and goals for the year. Interestingly, one piece of feedback he had for me was that I should not be concerned about the trade-off, I guess, I've made in terms of lifestyle and well-being versus income in the past 2 years, and the fact that my savings has gone down. Rather, he said, be ready for growth because of the work that I've done laying foundations, building strong partnerships, getting product in place for the business. So I've actually added a ramp-up plan, a capacity increase plan to my goals for the year. Now, another issue we discussed was the fact that my office space is in the corner of my living area. I had actually been thinking about trying to position myself to buy a 3-bedroom apartment or 3-bedroom house this year. But after looking at my finances and talking it through with Jess, I think a smarter move would be to get this space out of the living room. So rather than all of the money and effort that would go into finding a new property and moving this year, I'm going to look for office space, my own space that I can rent, sublet somewhere, or a serviced office space where I can set up that's quiet enough to do my podcasting and webinars, so it'll need good internet. And I will move my current desk and office area there and just pop a small desk in the corner of my bedroom for the occasional evening meeting with the UK. So we're here on the 6th of January. I've got a trip down to Melbourne late January, school's going back at the end of January, and I've got my trip to Paris and London in the first half of Feb. So a busy 6 weeks to start the year. I won't bother looking for office space until I'm back from London. 2 other things I did this morning. I took my Q1 goals, my quarter 1 goals for work, and I actually mapped them out by project across the first 3 months. That's a fair bit of work to get through in the first 3 months. Ambitious, achievable at a stretch without killing myself. And I also wrote up my new daily routine. So it's going to start with exercise, walking the dog, tidying up. This will be exercising with Jess down at the gym. Half an hour on LinkedIn, some daily learning activities. I've got 2 chunks of time for emails. My big deep work session is in the morning, 2 90-minute sessions, a decent break for lunch and take care of myself with food and reading, and then a range of shallow work and client calls and meetings in the afternoon. Break for when Jess gets home from school, marketing and social media in the afternoon, a couple of hours for dinner, shower, a bit of news, a block of time set aside for meetings with the UK, and then in bed by 9:30. I'm quite relieved about joining the local gym and shifting our exercise block into the mornings rather than the evenings. I think that's just going to work so much better, and I won't have this big kind of chunk of time taken out of my afternoon, because it has been feeling like I've been working from early morning to late evening, even though it's only been about an 8-hour working day since we lived here in Brisbane. And that's because I had this 3-hour block of time in the late afternoon, early evening, which was allocated to going to the gym with Jess, driving there and back, hanging around while she did an extra hour of exercise. New arrangement's going to be much better. Treating today like a work day, so it's almost, or it is 10 o'clock. So I'm about an hour behind here of starting on my deep work. I did mix it up. I didn't quite follow that routine in the morning, but I've only just put it together, to be fair. So I'll just slip things by an hour and make up an hour in the afternoon, shift some things around in the afternoon. So it's time to get on with some deep work. I ended up doing a lot more deep work than I had anticipated today, and that's because I'd forgotten about a professional development planning mentoring session which I'd agreed to do with a colleague / friend, which, because I knew her well and we got into other areas, actually took a couple of hours. So I've been trialling a new template and approach to these sessions. This is the 3rd session that I've done now. I'll do a reflection tomorrow, but what I'm finding is each session's a little bit different. Each person comes with a different time frame for their key goal. Each of the goals has been very different and required different approaches, but I've got some structure built into the session, and I've got a little bit of material, preparation material I send out, as well as the PowerPoints I'm using. And what I'm finding is the ability to flex through the session, but also that the sessions need to be at least an hour and a quarter long rather than an hour. So I've got another 3 sessions this week, so I should really be able to fine tune and iron out anything that needs to be sorted out with that. The other thing I've started working on today is a report for a team capability assessment, a learning and development team capability assessment, which I am doing using the capability map from the Learning and Performance Institute. Again, still fine-tuning that process, working a lot with data and trying to figure out how best to represent the data. So I'm feeling quite drained. I mean, I'm a bit out of practice sitting at a desk. My back's a bit sore. I've been concentrating all day, even though I've taken lots of little breaks. So I am working to my quarterly theme of professional development, both at an individual and a team level. So pretty happy with my focus. And I'm going to finish on that note. Another day tomorrow, time to unwind. I do have a few shallow work kind of tasks I need to do this evening as well, but time to take a break and maybe cook some dinner.